Which way do we face?
We're facing upriver.
Upriver. Okay.
Going to go hand over hand this way.
Yeah. Yes.
Don't fall in.
Sorry,
Pull
John.
it back.
Sorry, John.
My hands were fine, but the raft certainly wasn't.
This is the worst raft in the world. I mean,
Nick, I take back everything I said about these logs being floaters.
dear me, I might as well have built it with lead piping. It's bloody useless.
After a 20-minute struggle, we'd made it. But the only dry clothing I had left were the socks. My confidence in John had been badly shaken by his useless raft, and my fear resurfaced as we headed on into Kombai territory. There are thought to be only 4,000 Kombai, an estimated 500 of whom have not had contact with white people. And finding one of their villages on foot is far from easy. After 5 hours hard slog, we came across our first sign that we were getting close. An abandoned treehouse that made my stomach turn somersaults.
Oh, it's pretty high.
And this is supposedly one of the lower ones, according to these people. Right?
Oh, really? This is a low one. Oh. It's high enough for me.
We got a bit more walking to do.
It suddenly seemed like a very silly thing for me to be doing. Trying to find a group of people who probably didn't want to be found, in the knowledge that if we did find them and they didn't attack us, I would then have to overcome my rampant vertigo just to say hello. Another 2 hours on and there were more tree houses. These ones were higher and inhabited.
Oh, you weren't kidding. That other one was just small, wasn't it?
I felt sick. And as we walked into the heart of the village, things got worse.
John? What's all this about? Is it real or is it just their way of saying hello? What should we do?
Well, I think we need to probably...
What about our porters? Do they know people here?
Some of them ran by me as this all started to happen. So,
Don't say that, John.
yes.
They all ran away.
No, they're still here. I don't think they ran too far away. But, yeah, I think they were pretty freaked out.
So it's a sort of impasse now. Standoff. We need to do something. Do they shake hands? Should I go and shake his hand? Or?
We can certainly try to make a friendly gesture.
Well, you go first because I don't really know what a friendly gesture is here. I might do something awful by mistake.
Okay. Bapak, selamat sore. Selamat sore.
Oh, good news.
Terima kasih. Senang
Selamat sore.
saya datang di sini. Bapak satu ini juga. Let's go shake hands with this guy and then maybe the third fella too while we're at it. Selamat. Selamat begitu. Ya.
Not interested.
Okay. Kami selamat. Bagaimana, Bapak? We'll try to talk to the third fella. I mean,
1 all.
1 out of 3 is not too bad. 2 out of 3 would be better.
Yeah.
Bapak, selamat sore. Selamat sore. Bisa kah? Selamat sore.
It was looking like we were going down 2-1, which in my eyes would leave a hasty retreat as the only option.
Bisa kah? Kami juga datang senang untuk bisa datang di sini. Terima kasih.
But John obviously said some of the right things, although I wouldn't exactly say the ice had been broken. Nevertheless, we had a majority on our side and were given somewhere to sleep, although the atmosphere remained decidedly uneasy. Frankly though, after that walk and all the drama, I was too drained to care.
Well, I'm here. There were times today when I wasn't sure that I'd make it. But what worries me a bit more is the welcome we got. Welcome. I mean, I just didn't know what to do. It suddenly hit me how far out of my element I was. So hopefully they'll get more friendly.
When morning came, the mood in this village of wooden skyscrapers had indeed lightened. As curious about us as we were about them, John and I were invited to visit each of the 3 elders and their families in their respective tree houses. The only problem, of course, was going to be getting up there.
I do have a confession to make.
Okay.
Which is that I'm not really into heights. So should we ask one of the chaps to come down and show us how it's done? Because I mean these things seem quite small to me.
Ada bapak satu bisa turun, baru naik lagi supaya dia bisa lihat.
I knew that if I was going to learn anything from the combi, I needed to take up their offer and make friends. But I have suffered from severe vertigo all my life. I just never trust myself not to let go.
Well, needless to say, it's
Great
very
technique.
easy.
Great technique,
Very easy. Yeah, well, here goes. It's a bit juddery. Don't look down,
Yes.
don't look down.
I'll try to hold it still down here.
Don't look down. Don't look down. Hey.
I'd passed the first hurdle, but this was the lowest house in the village.
Yeah. Fiambo.
Fiambo. Nick.
This welcome was a lot more friendly, but I decided to take things slowly.
This might seem like a stupid question, but why do you live in a tree house?
Dia tanya kenapa bapak.
Everything was being translated from English to Pidgin Indonesian to Kombai and back again. But eventually it transpired that their ancestors had first started building tree houses to escape from their warring neighbours. These days, they enjoyed the views, the gentle breezes, and best of all, the fact that all the mosquitoes were left down on the ground.
Said our ancestors had that in mind when they built these houses up high.
So there was originally a protection element.
Yeah.
And they're right about the mosquitoes. I
Yeah.
haven't seen one.
The Kombai seemed to have simply no fear of heights at all. It made no difference to them if they were living 3 meters above the ground or 30. But for me, just looking at the big one turned my knees to jelly. As part of the introductions, I was expected to climb up it, but I certainly didn't feel ready for it yet. So when Fiambo and his family told me they were going off hunting, I jumped at the chance to join them instead.
By the end of this hunting trip, you'll be a pro.
Yeah, I hope so.
The Kombai are semi-nomadic, moving to new tree houses once they have exhausted a particular area's resources. They hunt wild pigs and birds, but pickings in this swamp forest tend to be extremely meagre. The life expectancy of a Kombai man is just 35 years. No one was having much luck, and since Fiambo and his clan had been in this area for 4 months already, there was almost nothing to shoot at. And when there was, I certainly wasn't helping much. After one last miss at some unidentified bird, we concentrated our efforts on more down-to-earth prey.
It's very, very tasty.
Very tasty.
Crickets and grasshoppers were easier pickings, but didn't provide much in the way of protein. Nevertheless, we took our spoils back to the village. Lunch was being served in the second treehouse. It's higher, this one, John.
It's a bit shakier than the other one, too.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's not very stable. Actually, I tell you what, the steps are closer together, which makes it easier, I have to say. In fact, I think this is better than the other one.
Well,
Better, easier, John. It may have been getting easier going up, but I still didn't like looking down. So what happens? Do I eat it all?
oh, the whole thing. Just pop it in. Yes, that's its size. That's not a bad...
Really good. I don't know if it's the texture that makes it taste like shrimp, but it has got a shrimpy taste as well. Missouri, huh? Oh, yeah. Fiambo's family was difficult to identify clearly, but he said he had 3 wives, each from a neighbouring clan. A sensible strategy that ensures genetic diversity. That evening I was invited to spend my first night in a treehouse, 10 metres up in the air. It wasn't exactly a feather bed, but for the first time since I'd arrived in Papua, I didn't have to use my mosquito net. The next day I woke to the sound of women working. They provided another perfect displacement activity to delay the moment I was dreading, climbing the big one. The crickets and grasshoppers hadn't exactly filled me up, so I was glad to see the women attacking a whole sago palm. Sago is the Combai's staple diet, a rich carbohydrate flour extracted from the insides of this tree.
They're really eating the tree, aren't they?
Exactly.
It's not the nuts, it's not the fruits, it's not the leaves.
It's the very tree. And this is a fine art. I mean, they're barely skimming it each time. Nick, you have to sing with them if you're going to do it.
I could handle the singing part of the job, but the sago axe was more tricky. Pretty soon, I'd beaten all the sago I could, and, just like all the rest of the men in the village, I let the women get on with it. The sago pith is washed and strained, and the flour suspended in the water is collected in large palm fronds. After an hour or so, the sago flour separates from the water and is collected ready for cooking.
Doesn't look like the same stuff they were beating on a while ago, does it?
No, it doesn't. Cardboard has more moisture than this. Really fine. Said he lying fluently. I was doing my best to adopt the ways of the Combai, but when the men produced their favourite delicacy, sago grubs, I'm afraid I drew the line. I don't think somehow I'm going to eat it raw.
But
yeah, well, I'll pass on that one. Yeah, you like them cooked too, huh? Yeah, straight in. Fiambo didn't look particularly happy, but at least I now had an ally. You and I, we wait for the cooked ones now. Yeah, you and I, we're a team. Let's put some on the fire.
all right, we're going to cook some for you guys. Here's one for you.
It's actually nice, isn't it? It looks foul, but very nice.
You want another one?
Very good, Fiambo. I would actually. Bit by bit, I felt I was gaining acceptance.